Talk a bit more about the judiciary now. We know that there are huge issues in the Western Cape around the judge present, Judge John Hlophe, and his deputy, Judge Patricia Goliath. And also these claims from the Ground Up and Daily Maverick websites of some sort of hit, allegedly, being arranged on the deputy judge president of the province, Judge Goliath. She's embroiled in a dispute with Judge Hlophe. He denies strongly, I should say strongly, any involvement in that. Allison Tilley is from the organisation Judges Matter. Allison, good afternoon to you. It seems some of the incidents around our judiciary are getting quite strange. We've got 10 judges in the Western Cape who refuse to sit with another judge. They say he lied. Now we have this reporting about a possible hit. How would you describe all of this?
Well, I think it's obviously a matter of great concern, not just for the Western Cape judiciary, although obviously they're front and centre in this, but for the judiciary and the country as a whole. Judges have been a really critical part of governance and being able to push back against state capture. They're essential to a democracy. We really need to make sure that there is no undermining of the judiciary.
How do we resolve all of these problems? I mean, obviously, legally, and I suppose correctly, the Judicial Service Commission is the right body.
Yes, the Judicial Services Commission has a Judicial Conduct Committee, which forms part of it, and the Chief Justice heads that committee. That committee really has not functioned particularly well for some good reasons, and we've seen very, very long delays in resolving complaints about judges, and I think we really have to look to that conduct committee to becoming much more effective in order to try and clear this cloud that now hangs over the judiciary as a whole and the Western Cape in particular.
How do you make that committee more effective? And I mean, the first thing is you say you point to the delays almost immediately. I mean, that's a major issue, isn't it? I mean, surely, and I realize some of the people on that are busy, they're occupied, but there's stuff that needs to be done quickly.
It's potentially a solution lies exactly in the question. Yes, there are judges that sit on the Judicial Conduct Committee. Perhaps one could make a change and make those retired judges in order that they can spend, more time focusing only on getting those conduct issues dealt with. Some of it is historical in the sense that we've had new legislation that's had to be tested, and it has been tested all the way to the Constitutional Court and back. So that shouldn't be the issue now, and we know that there are a number of hearings scheduled for October, and we hope that will be the beginning of things moving more quickly. But I think we must look at structural issues in order to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
Central, in a way, to all of this is the role of the Chief Justice, Mogoeng. How important is the role that he and his office is playing in all of this?
Well, his office and he himself are very important in this process because he is the chair of the Judicial Conduct Committee. He has delegated that to the Deputy Chief Justice, but of course Justice Zondo has other things to keep him busy in the form of the Zondo Commission. He has recently taken back the chair for one of the conduct proceedings. The Chief Justice has a very big job. It involves ceremonial work and handing down decisions and managing the judiciary. Again, that might be something that one might want to look at going forward. Is there an argument to say that perhaps the chair of that committee should not be the sitting Chief Justice in order just to make sure that there is the capacity available to make sure these issues are dealt with quickly?
And the Chief Justice Mogoeng himself, I mean, there's a complaint against him because of comments he made about the Middle East. He does from time to time give speeches. He absolutely has every right to do that, as I understand it. Is there anything wrong with him making comments like that in public, intervening in some way?
Well, it's certainly been tradition that judges speak through their judgments. I suppose that's the slightly more old-fashioned way of looking at it. I think the Chief Justice has taken the view that he can and should speak out on issues where people call for his leadership. The difficulty, I think, is that, as we've seen, that can become very politically tricky and create the kinds of diversion and discussion around the judiciary that the judiciary really don't need, given the controversial role that they already play in upholding the Constitution and defending the rule of law.
Is it important to have a quiet Chief Justice or a loud Chief Justice?
That's such a difficult question. I would like to have a good Chief Justice, and I think that's something we're going to have to think about in the next year as we look forward to the appointment of the next Chief Justice. It is, as I say, it's a very big job. It involves writing good judgments. It involves making sure the management of the Chief Justice, the Office of the Chief Justice works. The ceremonial role is important. It's a very big job, and we certainly need to be thinking about what the elements are of it that are most important and who would be able to do those best.
Allison Tilley from Judges Matter, I really do appreciate the time. Thank you very much indeed.